Alright, let's have a look at the extraction hood and flue drawing. So you've got 1.6mm thick galvanized sheet, welded all round, and let's have a bit more look through it. All dimensions shown are outside, so that's something to keep in mind. So this one shouldn't be too difficult, so what I'll do is I'll just go to Inventor, do a new sheet metal, and I might just break with habit here and I'll change it to 1.6 already. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a bit of a side profile just so I can get the angle right for that plane up the top. So we've got it 600 and 347 to the center of this spigot, which is 125 in. So let's draw a line. I'll draw a construction line and I'll type in 600. Zoom out a wee bit and strain the middle that way and that way. Now I'm just going to draw a line for making a plane. So I'll draw it approximately there, so it looks something like that. And I'll do 125 to the center of that line and 347 up. So what I'll do actually is, it's not easy to pick up on the center here, so I'll do it to the edge. So we're talking about a 250 OD and 125. So that is flush at the end, even though it doesn't look like it. So we'll just flush that up. Oops. Like that. And I will draw in a center point here. I'll just do a wee point. There it is. Just so I can dimension to the point. So I'll go that point to here. That measurement was 347. And the angle, so it has an angle here of 30 degrees off flat. So let's put that in there as well. And I'll leave it at that for a second. Now I'm going to draw one more line across the top here. I'm going to flush up that end with the rest of it. And the overall height of this thing is 275 plus 400, so 675. So I'll go there to there, 675. And we had a 250 OD, so I'll put that as 250. Now what I can do is I can put a horizontal constraint here, a vertical one, and you can see that all lines up there, and that's on a 30-degree angle, 347 at the center. So that's good. Now what I can do here, finish the sketch. Now I can do some planes. So the bottom one is already on origin, so I'll just highlight this one. And I'll sketch the bottom face. So the bottom face is 600 by 600, and that's outside sizes. So sketch on here. And center point rectangle 600, 600. So there's the base. Now we get a little bit trickier now. I'll turn that off just for ease of view. I'll do an angled plane around edge. So that's my edge, and I'll do an angle to this plane of 90 degrees. And what I need to do here is look at the drawing again. So it's 150 from one end. So when I draw the center of this ellipse, it's going to be at 150. So I'll go back to this and I will start a sketch here. And I can project the geometry. So I'll go here. And what I'll do is I'll just roughly place an ellipse in here. It's going to look something like this. Now I'm going to rotate around to see what's going on. And what I'll do is I will give this a dimension on the minor axis of, what size pic did we say? We're doing a 250, so 125. And I will put it on the side just to make it a bit easier to see. Yep, rotate around again. So I'm just getting a good grasp of what I'm doing. Now, dimension. What we can do is we can project geometry, and we can then check this dimension here, 288.675. I'll accept that, and I'll go here, dimension it out this way, and I'll say it equals that divided by 2. So now we've got the right size, and now we just need to constrain it to the right point. So I've already got it, no we don't, so I need to do 150 off that outside edge there. As it says on the drawing, 150. And what I'll just do here is I'll do a construction line, and I'll do that up just to the top. This is just something, so I have something to grab onto, and it may be horizontal, vertical, but I'll grab that endpoint, and I'll try and make it horizontal to the end of that line there, which is there. So it must be on vertical that we want. That one to that one. Now you can see if I turn it around this way, everything's along that line, and it's 150 from the edge there. Just go back to the home view, and it's still saying one dimension needed, so I'm not too sure what it wants, so I'll just go up to auto dimension here and see what it does. It wanted to know it's on a slight angle for whatever reason. So, whoa, that was loud. So what I'll do is I'll make sure that's parallel to that one. And there we go. Now it's happy. So I'm just going to zoom back out a little bit. Turn off this work plane. And now I will go and do one more plane across this one. So I'll go angle to plane around edge, that one, and 90 degrees to this one. And I can start a sketch on this top plane here. Now what I should be able to do is project this straight up. And also what I'll do is I'll just draw over top of it, because sometimes it doesn't like using projected geometry and sheet metal for doing lofted flanges. And we'll just have a look at that. take the visibility off, sort of clean it up a little bit. So everything's in line, 675 tool overall. Yes, yes. Right, everything seems pretty good there. So we've got 347 to the center, so that says 275 to the edge. So we'll just check that and make sure it all adds up. So that doesn't add up. So what is the reason for that? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to assume that 347, although it looks like a straight up and down measurement, it must be on an angle. So I'm going to come back here and I'm going to delete that. I'll go back into sketch 1 and I'll delete that measurement there. And I'll go along the back and do 275. So it wasn't far out. It was a tad out, so yeah, it works either way. You can see it's 274.831. So one of these dimensions can't be completely right, so that's fine. Right, so it's all good. So I'll just go finish here. And now I have all the faces that I need. So I'm going to save this. And this is the extraction hood and flue. So I'll say this is the skeleton drawing. Now, if I go back to the drawing, it says all dimensions are outside. So I'm going to do a lofted flange up here from that point to that point. And I am going to, keep it in that press brake style. I'm just going to check and make sure it's going to the inside because we're using all outside sizes here. So it's inside the square I've drawn, but inside that ellipse as well. And we'll go, okay. Right, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to just rip it down the middle, and I'm just going to keep this as one pattern, just for ease. It just should be easier. I will also turn a few things off that I don't need to see at the moment. And I will put a point, make sure there's a point here, that top point there, yep. And I'll go rip. And we'll see, may do it on an angle, so that's not really ideal. So what I want to do, back out, and I'll start a sketch, and I will do one on here, and I'll just do a construction line from that point. May need to project it first, project the point first, do a construction line from that point down straight, and I will make sure that ends down the bottom. So I'll go there to there, and I'll finish that sketch. Now I'm just going to put a point at the bottom of that line, and just so it rips straight up and down. It would make more sense to do it that way. It's a much shorter weld than, say, welding all the way down that seam. So if I go back to rip and do a point-to-point rip, select the face, start point, and the end point. We have a nice straight line going down, which is much better. And a small gap, 0.1. Now I'll just turn off a few things to make it easier to look at. Now, I should be able to generate a flat pattern of this one. And there you have a whole pattern. So you could put another rip down the other side, and then generate two patterns for it. But it's just a little bit more difficult, so I don't really need to do it for this one. What we'll do is we'll minimize this, and I will save. And I'll save that as the transition. Close that one down. And we'll open the skeleton drawing again. So I've got that open. Lofted flange from here to here. And we'll make it a smooth output, a die-formed output. And inside the line, because it's the outside diameter. Now, see how it sort of put that little line in there already, so it should rip perfectly fine. So I should be able to just go rip there, there. So sometimes it sort of picks up on where the seam's going to be, and sometimes it doesn't. But it's just happened to pick up on it there, so we'll put a wee rip in it. Just going to turn off the visibility of things I don't want to look at. And just have a look around. Yep, it's looking alright. Should be able to generate a flat pattern now. And there you have it. So that's the spigot, so I'll save that as the spigot. Now what I want to do is we'll assemble them together. So I'll go new, assembly file, and I will place the transition down, just randomly like that. And once again, I'm going to go to view up here. There it is. And do shaded with edges just so I can see what's going on a bit better. And I might just sort out this home view so it's the same as the Competenz drawing. So that's the position they have it in. So I'll right click up here, set current view as home, fit to view. Now what I'm going to do is constrain the origins together. So hopefully it doesn't flip it around or anything, but it might do. YZ, YZ, and I'll go flush, XZ, XZ, flush again, XY, XY, flush again. So now it's constrained to the assembly space. I can't grab it or move it, it won't let me, which is good. And now I'll place the spigot. And do the same thing again with that one. And now it's all constrained together. So I can't move anything independently. I'm just going to have a look at some of the views, make sure that's what I want. So that's the front, that's good. Top, yep. Yep, that's fine. I'm happy with how that's turned out. So now I'm just going to save this one as the extraction hood and flue. And that's that one there.